to our Golden 20s. My name is Tegan, and I'm joined with my co-host Sadie.
Hello.
And today we are going to be talking about our summer routines and little ways that we level up our lives in the summer because it's the best time of the year.
Yeah, we
Time to
love
do
that summer vibe. And honestly, it seems every time we do a routine type episode, those get a lot of listens. I feel like people are just like, tell me what to do to level up my life, you know? So this is hopefully just filled with some ideas for you that are more summer specific. If you're looking to switch up your routine, I feel like change of season's always a good time to do that. So here we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and before we get into that, I thought because it's a new month, we
True.
could do like a little check-in, see what's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
So,
love
what's been up
that.
with you, Sadie?
Yeah, I feel like we did a goal setting episode for June, and I shared with you guys how I really wanted June to be like a social month for me and like really focused on feeding my soul. Yes, I said it again, even though it's so cringy, but I feel like June was exactly that, and it was probably the most fun month I've had
Mm.
yet this year, and the month that's felt the most normal, like in comparison to like my pre-pandemic life kind of
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
So what that means was I was just out and about spending all of my money. I was, doing fun things with friends. I was going to dinner. I don't know. It was just like a really good vibe month. And I feel like it made me feel really alive. However, that being said, I feel like talking about summer routine, and we're definitely going to get into it in a little bit, is my routine through the pandemic has been very much like a based at home routine, obviously.
Yeah.
So when my social life started bumping, I was like, oh God, like something's got to give. And like, I was also just, and I still am like exhausted just from going out, staying out late, and like all this social interaction that I'm just not used to anymore. So yeah. But, anyways, change in routine, but it's all good things. I feel like my maybe parts of my routine that I considered like self care and that I've been like really diligent with so far this year started to slip a little bit. So that included my at home yoga. I unfortunately never made it to the yoga studio across the street from me, and I've showed up on here twice being like, that's my monthly goal, and I didn't accomplish it either time. Just goes to show sometimes those monthly goals don't work out.
Yeah.
But anyways, also on my personal training journey, I celebrated 6 months of personal training, which was a
Woohoo.
huge milestone for
Yeah.
me. And I signed up for another 12-week program, just going to kind of keep it going. So yeah, it's been good vibes over here. Also, my therapist is coming back. She's been off for a few weeks. So I'm excited that she'll be back, and coming July, I'll have another session with her. And I just wanted to use this as a reminder because this has also been like an internal battle I've had with myself, being like,
yeah.
but things are going so well. Like, I don't need to talk to my therapist.
Right.
But I think the whole reason I wanted to talk to a therapist this year and consistently was that I don't want to wait until things are bad. I want to
Yeah.
like, you know, kind of use therapy as like a preventative measure to prevent myself and my mental health from getting bad. So just a reminder, you don't need to only talk to a therapist when you're feeling upset. Talk to them about the good things as well. So yeah, good month. More
Love
good
that.
things coming. What about you, Tay?
Yeah, I feel like my June's left me feeling kind of like weird. I don't know. Like it's like when I go out, I wish I was at home, but when I'm at home, I'm like, I wish I was going out. Like this is my chance. And it's not just with that. It's like I constantly feel like I should be working more, but then I'm also like, yeah, but you're young and who cares? You should be working less. And it's like, well, you should clean your house more, but then it's like, who cares? Like it's I don't know, spending money, saving money. It's like all these internal battles.
Yeah.
And so I think where this is all stemming from is that I don't really know what I want. And so then it's hard for me to figure out what to prioritize, how to goal set, and how to feel like I'm achieving goals and to do so consistently.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like one thing I did was I had this realization like the last week in June. So then I revisited my yearly goals, which were to live life more simply.
Right.
So then the last week in June, I've been trying to do that. Like I wasn't going out. I was just focused on like cleaning my house and cooking and working and reading, like nothing
Yeah.
spectacular,
Yeah.
but then it also made me feel a lot better. So then I feel like that's maybe what I need to do every time I'm feeling weird is just be like, okay, return to the simple life
Yeah.
because
I love that.
things are getting crazy.
Yeah, even if you just have a few things, if it's cooking, cleaning, reading, like
Yeah.
a few activities that like ground you, I think that's so important,
Mhm.
especially when you kind of switch things up in some way and like all of a sudden are being really social. And then
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel that I've felt that exact vibe before, being like, I wanted to do this, but I'm doing it and now it's not fulfilling
Yeah.
and I wish I was
Yeah.
doing something else. So having those like activities that ground you to come back to every now and then, like I think that's a really key thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also have scheduled a blood test with my doctor just because I found that everything I do is making me exhausted.
Mm.
Like I know we talk about like filling your cup. It's like
Mhm.
nothing I do fills my cup.
Right.
It all I could be going out, it's getting empty. I could be staying home, it's getting empty. So then I'm like, I feel like that is incorrect. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna see if maybe like there's a hormonal issue or if
Mm.
I'm low. Like I've gone to the doctor before and they were like, your B12 is really low, which can lead to exhaustion. I mean, I take B12, so it's probably not that currently,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
and
Doesn't
working
hurt.
with my therapist, seeing what's up. But
Yeah.
it's just been a very strange month for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but honestly, I feel like that's life.
Yeah.
Like it's up and down and
Yeah.
it sucks so much because like when you're kind of riding a high, like I kind of feel like, going into the summer with May even and now June, I'm like, I feel great, but
Yeah.
I know it's not going to last forever kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I don't know. It's just, yeah, seasons of life, man,
Yeah.
like ups and
Yeah.
downs all the time. But I feel like it's good that you like recognized
Yeah.
how you're feeling. And I think that's also part of living a simple life is just
Mm-hmm.
knowing how you feel, acknowledging it, and
Yeah.
like not necessarily trying to like turn it around. Like
Yeah.
that's something I'm so bad for is like, okay, well, I'm doing all the things that usually make me happy. So why aren't I happy? Like,
Right.
just
Yeah.
take the pressure off, let yourself feel,
Yeah.
and eventually things will swing around again, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it's not even like I'm sad or like
Mm-hmm.
angry. It's just like this
Like you're
isn't
floating.
fulfilling like I
Yeah.
thought it would be. So then it's more of like a frustration around like then what the heck would make me feel fulfilled?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
And so
That's
yeah,
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
on a soul searching journey. I've been watching a
We
lot of
love
TED
it.
Talks.
Yeah. We love that for you, and we are here to support you through this soul searching journey. That's
Yeah.
what we're all about on our Golden
Yeah.
Honeys podcast. I was also thinking back, I feel like in our yearly episode, I mean, yeah, like at the beginning of the year, our
Yeah.
yearly episode, that was a dumb way to put it, but you know what I mean. At the beginning of the year, I feel like you talked about having like a mid year check in with
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
and like, kind of re I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. For some reason, I can't talk at all today, which is a great day to be recording a podcast, but just kind of like reevaluating, I
Yeah.
guess. So maybe that's the point you're at.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, you're like, okay, I'm just ready for that mid year check in.
Yeah.
What's
Well,
going on? What
I
do I want out of
feel
the
like
last half
part of the
year?
problem is to like social media.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. While you were talking, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. It's fine because it's like say it with work. I said
Mm
mid-year check-in, I'm going to reevaluate my work. And so I set goals for myself and it was like if I achieve these goals that means I'm on the right path. And I achieved them earlier than I wanted to. So I'm like, okay, here I am. I'm on the right path. It's all coming together.
hmm. Mm hmm.
And yet, it's like all I see on Instagram is like if you want to match inflation, you have to change jobs every 2 years. And if you, because a raise isn't
Mm
enough, they'll
hmm.
never give you a raise as big as inflation is. So you have to be job hopping and you have to have a side hustle and you have to have passive income. And so it's like every time that I sit and I'm happy about something, there's like a nagging voice that's like, yeah, but why are you happy? Because you don't have a side hustle. So yeah,
Mm.
your 9 to 5 is good, but what about
It can always
your
be
passive
better.
income that you're not
Yeah.
collecting? And so and it's the same with everything. Like when I'm at home, all I see on Instagram is everyone going out,
Yeah.
and but then when I'm out, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
So
And you're
it's
almost not saying this for you, but like for
Mhm.
me sometimes I'm like I'm out just to be out, not because I
Yeah.
actually want to be there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I just want to look like I'm having a fun time. I want to show that
Mhm.
I'm out living life when I'm young and in my 20s, but it's like
Yeah.
really I just want to be home with my cat watching
Yeah.
Harry Potter. Like
Yeah.
yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
And like when's the last time you took a social media break?
Yeah.
Like maybe you're just
Never.
due for one, even if it's
Mhm.
just a day or a
Yeah. Yeah.
weekend
Yeah.
or something, like tuning out, because I think anytime I start feeling weird and like an emotion I can't identify,
Mhm.
it's from doom scrolling. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
easily. Where like one post makes me feel really happy and like motivated and excited, like
Mhm.
seeing somebody just crushing it at the gym, whatever it is,
Yeah.
a yogi on the beach somewhere. I'm like, wow, that's so inspiring. Then
Yeah.
I scroll to the next post and it's like, yeah, work, girl, like hustle, hustle, hustle. And
Yeah.
it's like the just range of emotions I feel scrolling in like
Yeah.
one sitting. No wonder I leave feeling like confused,
Yeah.
and just unable to identify my emotions. So even actually this week, I took 2 days off, not off social media, but
Yeah.
like my phone's been on do not disturb mode. So even text, it's like it's when I want to check my text that I do, not just
Yeah.
anytime they come in. Same with Instagram, TikTok. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying not to
Yeah.
check them as much because I totally feel that doom scrolling vibe and it's not it.
Yeah.
Not it at all.
Yeah. I feel like there's also a sort of, I don't know, there's a part of me that's like, you're wasting time. You're wasting time. And it never applies to things that are actually wasting time, like me being on social media.
Right.
But it's like I saw a job posting where someone was hiring a person to make 2 to 4 TikToks a week as a freelancer, and you'd get paid per TikTok. And I was
Okay.
like, I should apply. I could do that, sure. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, why do I feel the need to have to, like, what's the point of that? If
Mm,
I'm working Monday through Friday, I have a podcast, I volunteer pretty extensively, like multiple hours a week.
yeah. Do you really need more?
Yeah,
Like, no.
and it's like what for, an extra $200 a week or however much you'd make
Yeah.
making 2 TikToks, like not to mention it's like if I really want to make TikToks that bad, I could just make more TikToks for this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
something that's actually like important to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just very
Yeah.
bizarre. Even today, like I had time off work and I was like, okay, what could I be doing? What could I be doing? And then I was like, why don't I just read my book and
Yeah.
sit and relax for a
Live
minute?
simply. Yeah.
So it's very
Yeah.
strange.
Girl, I think you're like everything you're saying is life in your 20s. And
Yeah.
like the whole reason we have this podcast, because like you get so much information thrown at you, like you should do this, you should do that.
Yeah.
It's the prime time for everything. Like if you're
Yeah.
not doing this, you're missing out. If you are doing
Mm-hmm.
that, you're doing it wrong, blah 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 blah. And it's just like like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't breathe. Like what is happening? So you're definitely not alone in all those feelings. And
Yeah.
we know you'll figure it out, even though that's annoying to hear. I'm sure things take time, but you got this. And we're
Yeah.
in this together, tag 100%.
Yeah. I feel like I will figure it out
Yeah.
eventually. I
Yeah.
just need to I think I need to figure out what I'm working towards and then use
Mm-hmm.
that as my guiding star. Because the
Yeah.
problem is, I don't know. Am I working towards like my, career and making fat stacks? Am I working towards like having a home that I love? Am I working towards my health and fitness? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So then when it comes time to, okay, how are you going to spend, today from 5 until 9?
Mm-hmm.
I can't decide. I'm like paralyzed by the choice because the
Yeah.
world is my oyster. So
Yeah.
it's really a positive.
It is, but I know that overwhelmed feeling of
Yeah.
having so much choice and not doing anything because you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I think one thing that can be helpful if you're feeling like lost or you don't know how to spend your time is to have a routine,
Yes.
which is what we're going to talk about.
Yes, 100%.
Because in each season, I feel like my routine kind of changes a little bit
Mm-hmm.
depending on just like the vibes, what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, in the summer, you've got longer days,
Yeah.
especially in Canada. It's just like so much easier to go out, it's so much easier
Mm-hmm.
to spend time outside.
Yeah. And if you're feeling blah and you have a routine, it might just be a good way to like change something up just to like
Yeah.
add a little bit more excitement into your life. So for me, that's been my social life.
Mm.
But then it's how do I adapt and like change my routine without feeling guilty. And that's
Yeah.
been a big piece for me is I was telling you guys I just celebrated my 6 months with my personal trainer
Mm.
and personal training journey, but like last week or 2 weeks ago, so for the past 6 months, I've been working out 3 times a week. And like 2 weeks ago, I only worked out twice a week because
Mhm.
I was just so busy
Yeah.
and tired. And I was like, I just can't do this. It was also extremely hot in Toronto. So it was
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
I'm just not feeling motivated to do this when I can do it. And I was so mad at myself. Like, I was just like, I've done this for 6 months. Like, it's great that I'm socializing, but I don't want to be like prioritizing my social life and like sacrificing all the things that I've been working so hard on. And it was kind of good because in the past, before I started working with a trainer, I would so easily brush off workouts and never felt bad about it. And I was
Yeah.
just like, whatever, I'll
Yeah.
get to it when I get to it. So it was good that I felt so bad about it because that means I like it's so important to me now. But it was like, give yourself compassion and like, it's okay to not show up perfectly every single day. And it's okay if this is kind of a time for you needing to like adjust and adapt to a new routine. So, want to throw that out there in case you're feeling the same way. And if you're not, maybe you're on the opposite side where you're wanting to like spice things up like we were
Mhm.
saying, because I feel like in the summer is often when I do feel the most inspired, like wanting to try new things or wanting to get out and about. So, and there's always so much happening in the city too, which
Yeah.
makes it easy to do that. So hopefully we can give you guys a starting point too if you're feeling on the inspired side of things.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So Tag, maybe starting with your morning routine, is there anything that you've been changing up for the summer?
Well, I find that I wake up earlier in the summer. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we purposely don't have blackout curtains in our
Yeah.
bedroom just because it's like nice to have the natural sun coming through. And so, obviously, like, the sun comes up earlier, so we
Mm-hmm.
wake up a little bit earlier and we wake up to like the sun waking us up, which is really nice.
Like, do you set an alarm?
Yes,
Okay. I
still.
was
But
like,
it's
damn, if
like
you just,
hours after the
yeah,
sun comes up.
yeah.
So, yeah, which we were better before we went to Hawaii and got jet lagged because
Mm,
Hawaii is like 6 hours behind.
right.
So, yeah, we wake up a little early and I try to enjoy things that are like summer specific, like iced coffee or fresh local berries. Like, it's so important to
Mm-hmm.
eat local and they just taste better.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been like switching up my vitamins, trying new ones to see how I feel. But other than that, like taking it slow.
Yeah.
How
Living
about you?
simply.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love that. I was thinking, I feel like there's always like a debate, is iced coffee summer specific?
Yeah,
To
not
some
really.
people,
Yeah.
some people it is. I'm one of them too. And I've been like totally embracing like
Yeah.
iced coffee season. But
I
I
have
think
it in the
about that from
winter
time to time.
too, but it's just like the vibe's
It's
better in summer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So funny. Yeah, for me, I also find it easier to get up earlier. And
Mhm.
I think that's actually a great like suggestion if you're looking to change up your routine. Like it's so much easier to get up earlier in the summer because it's brighter, but also it's warm. Like
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
up in the winter when it's like I have to leave my
Freezing.
bed to like freeze my butt off until
Yes.
I'm warm. Like it takes way more convincing. But that being said, typically I would like get up, do my morning yoga, like drink coffee, and then start my work day
Mhm.
since I'm still working from home. But since I've been social, I find like I've been a little bit more like generous with myself where
Mm.
if I get home really late, because also I'm somebody who needs like minimum 8 hours of sleep.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
And I used to, before the pandemic, be able to go off 5 hours. So it was
Oh
like, it's
god.
fine.
Yeah.
Like, we just keep going. But since the pandemic, I'm like, no, I need minimum 8 hours. So if I get home at like, say, 11:30 and then I have to shower and make a tea, like
Yeah.
do the bedtime routine, my skincare routine, and it's like 12:30 before I even get to bed, I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to be sleeping in tomorrow
Yeah.
and that means I have to sacrifice my yoga. So just being like generous with myself on the days that I do that
Yeah.
and sleeping in, that's totally fine. However, I've also started to enjoy my morning coffee outside a little bit
Mm.
more. Not every day, but the days where maybe the days I skip yoga where like I have 10 minutes, but I don't have, well, 10 minutes is enough time for yoga, but you know what I mean?
Yes,
If you
yeah.
just have like a little bit of time,
Yeah.
those are the mornings I go sit outside. And I just find it's like that really peaceful way to start my day. There's just
Yeah.
something about, I'm not a morning person, but there's something about when I am up, I do enjoy the morning.
Yeah.
It's just the getting up part that's hard.
Yes.
So it's just like sitting on my balcony because I live on a really busy street, and I feel people don't really notice my apartment building. Like it's just a very small building, kind of tucked like back off the street kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I feel like I'm in incognito mode and just like watching everybody go to work and like people
Yeah.
pick up their Tim Hortons from the Tim Hortons beside my house and like people going on about their morning routine. And I don't know, it's just a very peaceful way for me to start my day as I'm sitting there drinking my iced coffee.
Yeah.
So yeah, besides that, morning routine's kind of the same. Still keeping up with the gratitude journal, which I also
Love it.
recommend if you're looking for like what's fulfilling me or whatever.
Yeah.
You could also maybe look into gratitude journaling, but yeah, I feel like that's the only changes to my morning routine.
Love it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think as far as my like work day goes, it's pretty similar because obviously like I still clock in, I do my work, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But what I've been doing more and more is taking little like tidying breaks.
Ooh, I love that.
And this is something that I used to feel really guilty about. I just have like a lot of anxiety surrounding work
Mhm.
when it's like you're working from home, relax.
Mhm.
And I had the realization like if I was in my office, I would be spending time doing my dishes there, tidying my workspace.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't feel guilty about it when I'm working from my own home that's getting messy while I work there.
Mhm.
Like it's inevitable that I'm going to have to, you know, pack the dishwasher at some point, tidy my
Mhm.
kitchen when I make lunch, just like I would my office. And so that's one thing I've been doing. I've been using it is called Fly Lady Plus, and it's just like an app that tells you like a cleaning to-do list, but she has very specific routines, like a morning routine, afternoon routine, evening routine.
Like every day, like
Yeah.
daily routines?
And
Wow.
then your house is split into zones. So then you do those zones on
Okay.
top of that with a weekly like home blessing, she calls it, once a week, that it's like sweeping, taking out your garbage, like the stuff you have to do
Whoa.
weekly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just find it's almost like a habit tracker. So
Yeah.
it's like every morning and it's simple stuff. It's about, I think she made the app for like stay at home moms who were feeling depressed or
Mm.
unmotivated or couldn't figure out where to start.
Mhm.
So, like the morning routines, like you got dressed, you made your bed, you had your
Okay.
breakfast, you looked at your calendar.
Achievable things.
Yeah,
We
like
love
check,
it.
check, 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 check.
Yeah.
And that's the best part is I'm like
Yeah.
checking things off like
Yeah.
crazy. And then the afternoon routines, like you reset your dishwasher, you planned what you were going to have for dinner, you know, like little things like that.
Mhm.
And so I've also been like incorporating that into it, which I don't know. I've just found it makes it so that I'm still getting stuff done around my house while I'm at work. And
Mhm.
it's not like I'm sat at a desk for 8 hours and I get off and I'm exhausted and my house is destroyed.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the biggest thing. Like, we're both still working from home. So it's
Yes.
like when you clock out of work, like, you're in the same space. Like, you don't want your home to stress you out
Yeah,
just
exactly.
because it's also your workspace.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Wow. I need to look into this app. You
Yeah,
definitely have
I'm
mentioned it
obsessed with it.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so
It's,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just love checking things off.
Yeah. Me
And
too.
it makes it really simple and achievable.
Yeah.
Like the deep cleaning that you do of the zones is like the living room is my zone this week.
Mm.
And so you only have like 10 tasks and one of them is like throw out magazines that you don't need anymore. So it's like
Perfect.
that
Yeah.
takes
Yeah.
like 30 seconds, but it's the kind
Yeah.
of thing that I like wouldn't think of until
Yeah.
like months later and I've got a huge stack of magazines sitting there. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
enjoy it. Highly
Yeah.
recommend.
And even like outside of like cleaning up your desk every now and then at the office, like I feel there's been so many times like in my office days where like I would just turn and chat to the person next to
Yeah,
me for
take
10
breaks.
minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
go like walk around the office just to like stretch my legs, go
Yep.
grab a coffee or a tea from the kitchen or something. So it's
Yeah.
like those breaks still can happen at home
Yes.
and like it's okay if they're maybe like just you sitting on the couch scrolling through TikTok or maybe it's you doing some sort of like cleaning task around your house, throwing in
Mhm.
laundry or something, like embrace work from home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. And it's also so bizarre to me. I had this thought, I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast or not, but I had at the beginning of June, I had a lot of anxiety because my social life was picking up and I
Mm.
wasn't used to it. So I
Yeah.
like couldn't focus on my work at the time of work hours because I
Yeah.
was just worried and thinking about what I was doing after work and feeling overwhelmed. But anyways, long story short, I had this like realization how literally the anxiety I was feeling about like
Mm.
work is all internal, and like
Yeah.
obviously anxiety is internal, but like I was like, this is my home, like my space. I'm in the
Yeah.
space that I relax and like that I love so much. And
Yeah.
yet I'm so worked up. Nobody's even around me. It's not that I'm
Mhm.
feeding off other people's energy. Like it's all just me. And I was like, this is crazy. Like
Yeah.
me sitting in my office getting this worked up about stuff. Like, what? I don't know. I can't even like explain this thought to you guys. And maybe if you're listening, you're like, okay, I have no idea what this girl's trying to say. But maybe it's resonating with you to
Yeah.
just be like, yeah, our minds have so much power kind of thing. And if you
Yes.
can break the cycle somehow, like acknowledge what's going on and break the cycle if it's with cleaning, taking
Mhm.
breaks, going for a walk. Like I think leaving your house in the middle of the day is a big helper for me.
Yeah.
Like just changing things up and breaking that mental cycle can be a really great way to boost your productivity at work as well.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. For me, I feel like nothing really big has changed through my workday
Yeah.
through the summer months, minus the whole like period of being really anxious about work because I
Right.
wasn't focused on work. But all that being said, it's been like 2.5 years, well, 2 years of working from home just all by myself all day,
Mhm.
every day. And that's my one complaint about working from home is it's very isolating.
Yeah.
So when I was in Montreal in May, my sister was telling me how her and two of her friends were going to do like a cafe hopping,
Mm.
co working like session every week throughout the summer, and it was their way of seeing each other and like socializing, but also holding each other accountable to like getting work done
Yeah.
and trying out new cafes and like experiencing new foods, new places and stuff, exploring the city. And I was just like, that's such a great idea, like
Yeah.
that's exactly what I need. So after that I came home and I text one of my best friends and I was like, hey girl, do you want to try co-working? Like
Mm.
it just so happened that while I was inspired by my sister, I got served a TikTok that was like 10 great spaces to co-work in Toronto. So I like wrote
Right.
all of them down. I was like,
Yeah.
perfect. So we've tried co-working, I think just 2 or 3 times. And both times she just came over to my house because
Mhm.
I had like one meeting kind of thing where it was like, oh, we could go out. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
It's very like dependent on what both of us have going on that day to make sure it like is a good day to co-work for both of us,
Yeah.
because maybe we won't be able to focus quite as well as we can when we're totally on our own. We don't want to be taking meetings in front of each other. So
Yeah.
it's very dependent, but all this to say, we've tried it out. I really do like it, especially since it's one of like my best friends. So it is nice to take those 5-10 minute coffee breaks and just
Yeah.
chat about life
Yeah.
and just like again break that cycle of like getting in your feels about work
Mhm.
when you're just home by yourself all the time. And then I'm hoping that throughout the summer and into the fall we can try out some co-working spaces as well and just get out there, replicate what my sister's doing in Montreal,
Yeah.
but in Toronto.
Love it.
Yeah. I also actually went to the office too for our like annual barbecue kind of thing. So that was really nice to see everybody in person. And speaking of working from home and like being isolating, I also find it extremely easy to get like worked up at other people when you're only communicating with
Yeah.
them via email or message,
Yeah.
like where I'm just like, these people are idiots. Like, I hate
Mhm.
everybody. They're so rude, or they didn't interpret what I said the
Yeah.
way I meant it to. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, the tension just builds when you're just working remotely all the time. But as soon as I saw people in person, I was just like, oh, right, you are a real human.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't like get so worked up about stuff,
Yeah.
you know? So that was really nice. And also, since it was a little bit more of a social setting, it was nice just to like my whole team was there and it was my first time meeting like two of the people that are
Mm.
on our team. So it's like just nice to build those relationships in more of a social way outside of like a teams meeting or something like that. And then they also did like a renovation at my office. So the idea is that we're permanently work from home, but since they still have an office, like we'll be able to go in and use that as a co-working space if we want to. So I went in one day just to like I had to do a laptop swap, all the classic stressful IT stuff that goes on when you're working from home. So my boss was there the day that I did that. So we did our one-on-one in person, which I thought was I was actually like laughing at first because I was like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
Like, I've spent months doing this every week
Yes.
virtually that it was so weird to do it in person. But I've been talking to some of the people that I work really closely with cross functionally, and I was like, if we can all find a day to come into the office, even for like just an afternoon and work
Yeah.
from here and get some of that social interaction, like I think that would be
Yeah.
really fun. Maybe just even once a month or something. So people seemed into that idea, so I'm excited about that. But right now my workday hasn't been shook up too much. It's all
Yeah.
like things that are on the cusp kind of thing
Yeah.
coming up.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think outside of work, if I'm looking at my evening routine, the only things that have really changed is that I spend a lot more time outside in my backyard, or I've been trying different types of exercise, or like I've been running or going on walks almost daily, which I try to do during the winter, but like
It's
it's
way
hard.
hard. Yeah.
Like we have like full on blizzards sometimes, and it's just like not the vibe.
Yeah. And it's
And
also the getting dressed. You
yes,
start walking, you start sweating, you get home and you're just
yeah,
like exhausted from like carrying your boots. Like boots are
yeah.
heavy. Like
And it's really dark in the winter
yeah,
also,
yeah,
which like
yeah.
just isn't,
Not
I
the
don't know.
vibe.
No.
No.
So I was been spending a lot more time outside, which has been awesome. I've been trying to experiment with cooking more and getting excited with that just because like
Mm-hmm.
2 years into the pandemic, I'm like fed up with all the recipes I knew how to cook before.
Yeah.
Cuz it's like now, we used to live downtown, so we'd go out for dinner a lot
Mm-hmm.
or get like takeout, that kind of thing, when like
Mm-hmm.
obviously that's not sustainable when you're not going to an office.
Yeah.
And so all the recipes I had, I'm just like, I can't eat that anymore.
Yeah.
So we've been trying new ones, and obviously, like, it's barbecue season.
Love
Tyrell
it.
loves to barbecue. So now we've been like tag teaming things where it's like I'll make the marinade, but then he's in charge of cooking, and it's
We love
perfect.
that. Get you a man that loves to
Yeah.
barbecue.
I feel like all men love to barbecue.
Perfect. Perfect. We love that.
And yeah, I've been spending more time reading and journaling. I've been trying to get into bed like when the sun sets,
Mm, that's
which,
such a fun vibe. Like,
yeah,
is it like when it's still
witchy
some
vibe.
daylight where you
Yes,
don't like need to turn on your lamp just yet?
exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah.
such cozy vibes. I love
Yeah.
that.
Because it's like, I don't want to feel like I'm rushing into bed. And the sunset's
Mm-hmm.
pretty late nowadays. Like, I'm
Yeah.
probably going to push it obviously later once the sun starts setting earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's been awesome. And I also now get to wear all like my tiny, cute little matching PJs, not like my
I
big
love it.
flannel,
Yeah, yeah.
it's better.
Yeah. Oh, nothing better than like I'm just like I have the feeling of like the night routine in my soul right now where it's
Yes.
like
Yeah.
fresh out of the shower, put on your little PJ set,
Mm-hmm.
crawl into bed, open your book, like
Yeah.
that's usually when my cat comes literally tearing down the hallway and is like jumps on the bed. She's like, "Okay, mom, it's bedtime." Like, I'm here
Yeah.
for it. This is my favorite time of day too. So such cozy vibes. I love it.
Yeah. How about you? What's your evening routine look like?
Yeah. My evenings are when I've been doing all this socializing I've been talking about so
Yes.
much. So, that being said, I'm also typically someone who does lots of cooking at home, but when my weekends are also quite busy, I don't always have time to go to the grocery store or time to like plan out my meals. So, I've actually been doing a lot more HelloFresh like meal delivery the past like month
Mm.
more than I have probably ever in my life,
Yeah.
but I think that's okay. Like I know HelloFresh isn't the best. It's maybe not the cheapest. It's also lots of like garbage and waste and stuff, but I feel like it's extremely convenient and still
Mm.
cheaper than going out for dinner or ordering Uber Eats every night.
Yeah.
So I've been really enjoying that. Just really helps save on time,
Yeah.
but still make sure I'm like eating healthy and home cooked meals.
Mm-hmm.
So been loving that. If you guys are looking for coupons, hit me up. Hit me up in the
Yes.
DMs because I have shit tons of coupons. Also, just eating dinner outside.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a backyard since I'm in an apartment, but on my balcony, I'll eat dinner out there, or it's like that after dinner ice cream snack type
Mm.
vibe.
Yeah.
It's just the best. It's kind of like my morning routine,
Yeah.
but it's the opposite where it's like everyone's winding down, everyone's going home, and I'm just
Mm-hmm.
sitting there watching it all happen. Literally the best. Also, I've been reading outside, which has
Yeah.
been a huge thing too. yeah, again, just those like cozy sunset vibes. But yeah, I think I already talked about my workout too. Usually I work out in the evening, so it's
Mm-hmm.
just being flexible. If I can work out 3 times, great. If not, we'll aim for 2 times. But I had my check in with my trainer earlier this week or last week,
Mm-hmm.
and I was telling her like I'm so sorry, like I missed the workout. And she was like, "Stop, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
you need to remember that going out and like being social and like interacting with other people is also a contributor to our health, and like
Yeah.
not necessarily our physical health, obviously, like working out, but it contributes positively to our mental health, and
Yeah.
like we got to take care of ourselves in more ways than just like lifting weights and like
Yeah.
doing squats." And I was like, "Girl, thank you. I needed to hear that."
Yeah.
Like I love the that way of thinking about it. So, yeah, that was good to like good perspective to have.
Mm-hmm.
And then last thing, I just wanted to call out with how my like more like weekly routine I guess has changed. I know in the past I've talked about having like a Sunday reset day
Yeah.
on the weekends. Also Wednesdays are typically like that midweek reset. And I find while I was just home all the time, I wasn't too diligent with my midweek reset because it was like things are tidy. Like I'm taking care of my space every day. Like it's fine. But with my social life kind of coming back, it's like clothes everywhere. Like I'm the type of person where when I'm going out for dinner, the first thing I'm thinking about is what am I going to wear?
Mm.
Then it's like I need to try on 4 different outfits and the clothes just be are like thrown on the floor, thrown
Yeah.
on my bed if they don't work out. So it's just clothes everywhere. My entryway is literally I have like a table where like my keys sit and whatever. And it's just like 4 purses are there by the time it's Wednesday.
Yes.
All my shoes are just
Yeah.
all over the place. So I'm like, my midweek reset on Wednesdays has now become like my midweek tidy.
Mm.
So I love how we were both talking about tidy. Mine, I'm like, if I have to sacrifice the daily tidy, at least I have my Wednesdays to just
Yeah.
take 5-10 minutes, clean things up so I can like set myself up for a successful last half of the week.
Love it.
Yeah. So not huge changes, but
No. Yeah.
again, it's little things, but it's all that summer vibes kind of thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So, if you're not already getting some ideas on how to switch up your routine, we have the second half of this episode all about ideas on how to level up your life for the summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the first thing is something we both talked about, which is just like challenge yourself to get up earlier because it's easier to do when it's bright and it's warm. Like now is the time. If you've been thinking, I wish I had more time in my mornings,
Mm-hmm.
summer is the time to start that routine.
Yeah.
And I always find like what I'll do if I'm trying to adjust is I'll just change my alarm by 5 minutes every day.
Mm.
Because it's like if you wake up normally at 8:30, waking up at 8:25 isn't going to ruin your day.
Yeah.
It's going to feel the exact same. But then it's like you build on that 5 minutes every day and then you'll find, "Oh my gosh, I'm waking up half an hour earlier."
Mm-hmm. I love it. Baby steps.
Yeah, exactly.
So good. I think another thing we both mentioned, but in maybe a less direct way, is just getting outside and how much that just boosts our mood. And like,
Yeah.
it's a total reset on, I don't know, if it's going for a walk, if it's going for a hike, like actually like moving your body, or if it's just sitting outside to read or something. Like, I
Yeah.
think the fresh air, all the fresh air, the sunscreen, I was going to say, the sunshine.
Yes.
Sunscreen's also important,
Yeah.
but sunshine, it all just adds to your quality of life and can really turn like a bad day around kind of thing. So just wanted to put that on your radar too, since again, that's so much easier to do in the summertime than in
Yeah.
like the winter.
And you need vitamin D. Like that's
Yeah.
a literal thing that you need.
Yeah.
So get out there and get it from the sun.
Yes. But wear sunscreen too.
Yes. Yeah. The next thing on the list was to focus on your steps. Obviously, this like goes hand in hand with the going outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's just easier to do it when it's sunny.
Yeah.
Like on your lunch break, take a little hot girl walk, listen to your
Mm-hmm.
favorite podcasts,
Yeah.
or
Hello. We're
yeah, we'll
we'll
be
be there.
there. Even like it makes such a difference. Now I can walk to the grocery store, I can walk to the
Mm-hmm.
LCBO, I can
Mm-hmm.
walk to grab coffee. Not to mention, like, it saves you money on your gas. It's better for the environment,
Mm-hmm.
good for your health. It just, especially, like, I love nothing's better than a Sunday, I have like an early morning nail appointment, and
Mm.
I'm like, no, I'm walking there.
Mhm.
And it's just like part of the vibe.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I think if you're someone who doesn't like to work out, like getting steps in is
Yeah.
like such an underrated way to work out. Like just a walk, we're not talking go for a run or like
Yeah.
run a 10K. Like no, just going for a walk, getting those steps in can be such a like good thing for your body. So don't underestimate it. Also, if you're wanting to get your steps up but you're having a hard time holding yourself accountable, I'm a huge fan of step challenges, and
Mm-hmm.
that can be with your family, maybe with your friends. In the past I've done it with my coworkers. Hold on, let me pull up the app that we use because it was totally free and I
Mm.
used it with work. It was called Stride Kick, and you can essentially set a challenge. So it'd be like it tracks your syncs to like your Apple Watch, or like
Mm-hmm.
mine was just my iPhone, and imports like your steps every day, and then basically the person at the end of the month. I think there's a few different like goals you can set, but
Yeah.
each time I did it, it was like the person at the end of the month with the most steps won kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's just like a fun way. It really, really motivated me when I did it. Like
Yes.
I just hate to lose. So it was like, oh, like even if I wasn't coming first place, I was always chasing the person right in front of
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just want to throw that out there because again, I think in the summer, like everybody's kind of like, oh yeah, I should probably get my steps,
Mm.
like, focus on my steps. So it's like, if you're like, okay, let's do
Yeah.
it together, let's do this challenge, like I feel everybody would be into it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And get comfy shoes. Like, I feel like we are past the point of purchasing shoes just because it looks good in pictures.
Mm.
Like, it's bad for the environment, it's bad for your feet. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
you can't walk, say, from like one bar to another, or you
Yeah.
can't walk to transit, it's no.
Yeah. It's a
I'm not about
hard
that
pass.
life.
Hard
Yeah.
pass. Yeah. You want to know something crazy? This is, I don't know if you know this about me, but I have varicose veins in my leg,
Mm.
which you've probably seen. And I'm not self conscious about them, but it's the one thing people are like, is your leg okay? Like, what's going on?
Okay.
I'm always
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't even like think about it.
Yeah.
But the whole reason I got them was because when I worked retail, our
Mm.
footwear policy was strict. It was like, you have
Okay.
to wear cute shoes,
Yeah.
like no sneakers, no, like it was
Okay.
strict. So it
Yeah.
was like flat sandals, like ankle boots in the fall, like,
Mm-hmm.
it was nice. But because I spent so many hours standing on my feet and on like cement floors, I ended
Yeah.
up getting varicose veins from it. And it's all
Whoa.
because I
Yeah.
didn't have comfy shoes.
That's crazy.
Right? But anyways, little
That's a good reminder,
little
though.
insider, because people are
Yeah.
like varicose veins are for like 80-year-olds, and I'm like, yes, I understand that, but I got them literally I think at 22, 20,
Yeah.
well, yeah, 22, if
Yeah.
not earlier than that.
Whoa, that's
All
crazy.
because that's how important comfy shoes are. So,
Yeah. I've always been team comfy shoes because I did ballet and that messed up my feet.
mm,
So then I can't wear certain types of shoes because it's just like my feet are just destroyed.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and athleisure zen people. The
Yeah.
sweat sets, the like little bike shorts, bra, like
Yeah.
sports bra. All you need is a pair of like cute sneakers
Well,
that are
and
also
I
comfy.
feel like maybe this is me being like snobbish, but I feel like when I'm downtown Toronto, the two true like Toronto people are in
Mm,
like sneakers.
yeah,
Like it's
totally.
you can spot an out of towner because they're wearing shoes they can't walk in.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I'm also gonna throw that out there to try and I don't know motivate
Unleash,
people.
yeah,
Yeah,
unleash your
in a
inner
mean way.
Torontonian. Yeah. The New Yorkers listening to this, if we have any of them, are like, girls, Like,
Yeah, yeah,
so funny. No, even in New York, you have your commuter shoes.
yeah.
But
Exactly.
next on the list tag, I know you definitely mentioned this, is eating fresh fruits. Those
Hmm.
fresh berries in the morning hit different. I totally agree. But eating like seasonally, I was going to say seasonally relevant, but that's not the word. Like, what is the word? Just seasonal fruits and
Yeah, eating
vegetables.
seasonally.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
I think that's
Yeah.
right. But it's like smoothie season and salad
Hmm.
season, things that are not hot. Like I think winter, fall, it's very like comfort
Yeah.
food, warm, cozy.
Yeah.
And summer is the opposite, where it's like fresh and like I'm not a salad person, but in the summer I'm just craving salads kind of
Hmm.
thing. Same with smoothies. They replace like my oatmeal every morning. I drink a smoothie every morning instead. So definitely just a great way to level up your life in the summer.
Yeah. And I mean, especially in Canada, eating seasonal is so important. It's better for the environment, supports local farmers, and it tastes better. Like
100%
the
better.
strawberries you get in Canada in the winter, they come from Mexico or they come from California, which is very far from Toronto. So they have to pick them before they're ripe because they'll get
Mm,
ripe on the journey to us. But that means
mm.
that they have no flavor. Like it's just
Yeah,
not the vibe.
yeah. Have you gone strawberry picking before?
I have, but not since I was very small, I feel
Okay.
like.
Honestly, guys, berry picking is like literally one of life's most simple pleasures.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. It's often like you need to wear sunscreen, a hat, because you're just in a field with zero shade
Mm,
picking berries.
yeah.
But it's just one of those wholesome moments. And
Ooh.
like you said, Ontario strawberries, or I guess, yeah, for us, it's Ontario strawberries. Like, just taste so much better and they're so small and
Yeah.
like then you get to take them home, all the berries that you pick, and it's just like they last all week. You can do so many different things with them, and
Yeah.
like it's way cheaper than buying them from the store, and I don't know. Just so good, and like such a good like day adventure too,
Yeah.
like out of the
Yeah.
city, recharging, breathing that fresh air. Because after strawberry season's like raspberry season, blueberry season. I might have them reversed, but it just keeps going. Then it's
Yes.
cranberry season.
Yep. Pumpkin
Just
season. Yeah.
yeah, just doesn't stop. So
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Well, I kind of on that same vein is gardening. Now
Yes.
is a great time to be gardening. Like I have a big garden in my backyard and a little one in my front yard too, but it's struggling. But I love gardening because this is very nerdy, but I feel like I'm playing Animal Crossing because I'm like, yep, dig up the weeds and then you water it. And I'm like, what's going to grow here? I
Have
don't
you ever
know.
dug up money
Not yet.
or hit a rock and just bags of money fall
Yeah,
out of
I've
it?
hit rocks, that's for sure. I once dug up something, some kind of bone that was like had
Oh
like
my god.
maggots on it, and I
Oh
was
my
like, "Is this a
god.
dead body?" But then it was just one bone, so I was like, "It's probably like an animal."
Oh
But
my god.
that was when we first moved in here, and I was like, "Oh, it's haunted for sure,"
Oh my god.
but
That's so
it's
scary.
not haunted.
But yeah. Yeah, I love that. I feel like for me, since I just have my balcony space, I have potted plants,
Yeah,
and I have more this year than I probably have in the past few years. And I love them so much. Like
yeah,
they set the scene obviously when I'm out on my balcony in the mornings or evenings as part of my routine, but it's just like also gives me something to do. Like
yes, yeah,
gives you purpose, gives you that sense of responsibility. I'm not like a super green thumb, so the fact these plants are alive
yeah,
is a miracle, but it's also a good challenge for me to like,
yes,
okay, I need to remember to water them every day when it's really hot, every other day when it's not, and like check on them. And
yeah,
I don't know, it's kind of maybe sounds loserish to say that, but it's kind of like a new hobby or like
yeah,
new
definitely.
interest and a new skill that you're developing almost.
Yeah, and it's progress that you can see. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
work on my computer, so it's like I do work 8 hours, but what's to show for it?
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
True.
Whereas it's like if I spend an afternoon in my garden, every time I look
Mhm.
at the window for the next week, I can
Mhm.
see the difference. Or
Yeah.
when I grow a new leaf on my fiddle fig, it's like I know that was 3 months of care to get that leaf, and there it is,
Yeah.
all grown up.
That's so true. I love that way of looking at it. It's that fulfilling vibe that you
Yeah,
were talking
exactly.
about.
Simple living.
Yeah. And speaking of simple living, I feel like the last tip we have for you guys is to take care of yourself like
Yeah.
you take care of your plants. And that just is essentially make sure you're drinking a shit ton of water,
Hmm.
staying hydrated, especially if you live in a really hot, maybe not even humid, just extremely hot climate. In Toronto, it's extremely humid. So drink water, stay hydrated, get lots of sunlight, and just treat yourself like your plants. That's what's going to make you bloom. Sunlight and
Yeah.
water.
Love it.
That's where we're that's
That's it.
the yeah, that's the end. Such a cliche spot to land on, but thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you are feeling hyped about heading into a new month and a new summer month. Hopefully you have some ideas on how to switch up your routine, or you're feeling comforted if you're just feeling a little lost or, you know, weird during these times. We're feeling that way too. But all that being said, thank you so much for listening. We drop a new episode every single Tuesday. Please give us a review, give us a rate, a rate, I don't know, rating.
Yep.
Rate us. That's it. Rate us on the podcast app, or if you're listening on Spotify, you can rate us on there as well. We appreciate that so much. You can also find us on social media. We're at Our Golden 20s on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest. We have some Spotify playlists, including some fun summer ones. So go check those out. And lastly, we are on Patreon, which is the best way to support the podcast. We drop our episodes early there, as well as put out some exclusive content like meal planners and that sort of thing. So go check it out, join our Patreon community, and that is it. So we will see you guys next Tuesday.
Bye.